comes to our face and when it comes to our skin, that can be a make it or break it moment for how you're feeling about yourself. Whether you are a man, a woman, a teenager, you could be doing all of the right things. You could be eating all the right foods. You could be, doing all of the right things with regards to facial care, taking all the right products, and you're still having this recurring issue with acne. And so what I wanted to talk about today are some of the triggers as to why that persistent acne is still rearing its ugly head and why you just cannot control the big cystic acne and the blackheads and the small whiteheads that are happening. And maybe it's extending from your face to your chest or your back. So I wanted to talk about some of the reasons why that can be happening. And then, of course, some natural treatments that we have that we can get you started with today to start improving that. And as always, if there are questions or anything that comes up as I'm going through this, please post away in the comment section. And what I'm trying to do right now is share this video out, but it doesn't seem to want to let me because that is technology today. So let's see if I can do this. With regards to some of the big triggers that we look at, so just like always, when patients come into our office, the number one thing that we want to be addressing and walking them through is that they are covering all of the pieces of the GAT protocol, gut, adrenal, thyroid, that we use in our practice. So when it comes to the gut, as funny as it may seem to some, when there's chronic acne issues, oftentimes it is related to the foods that you are eating. We have seen triggers like even just sugar. So for those teenagers that are having like the big slushies or the frappuccinos from Starbucks or the, the fruit smoothies that are supposed to be good from Tim Hortons, and we know that they're chock full of sugar, that every single time is going to exacerbate acne. But the other big one that we look at constantly with people, and I've had cases, people have had chronic cystic acne for years and never knew what was going on with regards to the trigger. And we talk about how dairy being a very mucousy, very thick sort of protein source, when the body doesn't know how to metabolize it, when it is causing inflammation, and when the body is trying to get rid of that source of inflammation as quickly as possible, it will start to get it out onto the skin. So your skin is a huge detoxifying organ. If your body can't clear it on its own or it's trying to do it as quickly as possible, often it starts to show up on the skin, and therefore you start to get this underlying big cystic acne or these predominant pimples, especially when it's in and around the mouth or the jawline. If you're having pimples in this area around the mouth or the jawline, more often than not, it's from foods that you are eating. And as I said, dairy, so cow dairy, and sugar tend to be the worst culprits at causing these skin flare-ups. So it doesn't matter how much exfoliation you're doing, how good your cleaning routine is, how often you are getting your esthetician to do your face, it is never going to clear up because you continue to be putting foods inside your body that your body is trying to eliminate as quickly as it can, and it's eliminating it through the pores of your face. The other big thing that we need to talk about when it comes to acne is your hormones. So we do a urine hormone test, and of course the question would be, well, what's the difference between doing it with blood or urine? Blood is like taking a snapshot of the hormones that exist at that very moment when you did the blood draw. When we do a urine test, we're not only going to be able to see what that hormone amount is, whether it be estrogen, progesterone, or testosterone, we're also going to be able to determine how your body is breaking that down. What metabolites is it? Is it the good testosterone or the bad testosterone? Is it the good estrogen or the bad estrogen? And that will give us a lot more insight into what it is that we need to start treating you for or treating you with. And the more lab tests we have, the faster we can start to treat you. So let me put it into context. With regards to acne specifically, the first thing that I want to be looking at, if you are an adult and you've been having persistent acne problems, is your testosterone levels. More often than not, when I test for this, women's testosterone is usually lower than where I would like it to be. But it isn't about that testosterone amount. And again, if you were to do this through blood work, it would say testosterone is fine. When we do it through urine, we say, well, yeah, your testosterone levels are okay, but it's actually metabolizing to the bad source of testosterone. You have two different levels. You have 5 beta, which is perfectly fine, perfectly safe, doesn't cause a problem. And then you have 5 alpha, which is where that persistent adult acne comes. It's where the little whiskers and the hair growth that can start to happen on the jawline, between the breasts, around the nipples. It's what can start to cause scalp hair thinning, and so on and so on. And a lot of the mood changes that can come with testosterone. If your testosterone levels are faring towards the bad testosterone, that 5 alpha testosterone, until we start to bind that and bring things back into balance, you will not get your acne gone for good, because your body is constantly cycling and producing this bad testosterone. What testosterone does in the facial pores is it creates more of that oil, and that oil is then going to cause more breakouts. So we want to be assessing for that first and foremost, if this is something that happened later on in life, in adulthood, or if you have a history of something called PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. More often than not, in those cases, we are favoring that bad form of testosterone. When it comes to estrogen, again, you can do blood work and it'll show estrogen as okay, low, or whatever the case may be, but there's 2 different types of estrogen you can produce. There's the good protective estrogen, and then there's the bad estrogen that causes DNA damage and things like that. If your body is favoring the bad form of estrogen, then it is also going to cause more weight gain around the hips and thighs, the breast tenderness and the breast swelling, but it can also start to trigger more hormonal acne on the face, in the chest, or on the back. So we want to be assessing all of these things, because if our only prescription to you was, just get a better cleaning product, or just go to your esthetician more often than you are right now, or just do X, Y, or Z, well, we're never going to get to the root cause of the problem. And if it is something that you are putting into your body, like I said, cow dairy or sugar, and this is any form of sugar. This could be tropical fruit. This is obviously white processed sugar. This could be bread products that you're having, wine, anything that converts to sugar very quickly. And/or there's a hormonal issue going on that we need to be addressing. Predominantly what we would do is then we would use herbs or some sort of dietary or lifestyle change to help improve that. Now, in the naturopathic industry, when it comes to treatment, there are definitely a few things that we can talk about here. The biggest one that we want to talk about with regards to the skin is obviously clearing up that topical texture as quickly as we can. Now, this is where I do often recommend people going to an esthetician and getting facials done monthly, or a all-natural microdermabrasion, just to break down the dead layer of skin that's on the face, to allow the pores to breathe, to allow them to expel all of that dust and debris and get that taken care of. That is like the fastest way we can start to really break down some of the damage that's happening to your skin. But my other most favorite natural treatment that we recommend to our patients is castor oil. So castor oil is certainly not something that I'm asking you to take internally. It is very what we call cathartic. When you take it in, it can actually cause your stomach to expel all of its contents, so therefore you're vomiting, or it can go the opposite way and you're going to be running to the bathroom. And that is not going to help your acne, so that is not why we're doing it internally. When you put castor oil onto the face, wherever castor oil goes, blood flows. So if we want to bring more immune cells and we want to bring more blood flow to the face, wherever you put that castor oil, it's going to help to clean up that debris, help to break down some of that cystic acne that you're experiencing, and help to bring more blood flow to the face, which is also going to give you that beautiful glow. So when people say, oh my goodness, your skin looks so nice, it looks like you're glowing, it's usually because we've now cleared away the dead skin and we're bringing fresh blood flow to the area, which is going to give you that fresh look and feel. What we carry at the office is a complete cosmetic castor oil kit that not only can be used for the face, we also have an eye mask that you can wear at night that will help to kind of clear up some of the baggy skin under the eyes. And we have an eyelash brush that you can actually put onto your eyelashes, because again, where castor oil goes, blood will flow. So if you are doing repetitive treatments by getting your eyelashes done, or you're just finding that your eyelashes are falling out really easily, we can use castor oil applied very safely on the eyelashes to help them grow long and stay strong. And this is something that if anybody is watching this video, even if you're watching the replay, we're going to offer you a discount on that kit. So I'm going to put that into the comments below. So castor oil is one of my favorite things. The esthetician appointments to help clear off some of that debris and get rid of some of that gunked up areas of the skin is really going to help the skin breathe. And then, of course, when it comes down to healing the body, if it is a hormonal imbalance, this is where we will often use herbs. We can use herbs to help bind that bad estrogen that could be causing the acne. We can use herbs to bind the bad testosterone that is causing that adult acne. And often you're taking that for 2 or 3 months. And we've had some patients within a couple of weeks just notice a dramatic difference in how their skin is looking and feeling. But we cannot forget the whole piece that I've been talking about, which is detoxification. So your skin is a huge detoxing organ. And if your liver is overwhelmed, and the example I like to use is, let's say you have a big pot of water, a big bucket of water. And if you're constantly being exposed to fragrances and chemicals and things in the air and things in your food, and then mental, emotional stress on top of it, it's going to be like turning a faucet on and just filling up that bucket. Which means then your body has to use other sources of elimination to get those toxins out of you, and it's going to come to the skin. So we want to make sure that the bowels are flowing, which is again why with the GAT protocol, gut is always number one. We want to make sure that we're draining that bucket every single day so that it can fill up and drain every single day. So again, going back to the castor oil, you can also apply castor oil just over your liver. It's right underneath the right breast over the rib cage. And you could do that once a week, every other day. For women, we don't recommend you do it during your period because it can make the blood flow worse, like heavier.